Hello.
Hello.
Adam Bigelsen and
Ana Maria Oliva.
we're here because Anna wants to draw some pictures for you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us today, Anna, what kind of pictures are you going to draw?
I want to do a very simple explanation about the contagion.
Ooh, whoa, scary.
Scary. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Can you share, please? This is not about believing. This is thinking and having a critical and creative process of thinking.
Okay.
Okay, so that means that I'm going to have some inputs. I'm going to process them so as I can have an output that is consistent, coherent, and has no contradictions. Okay,
Right.
We are looking for laws, not theories.
Laws, not theories. Okay.
Yeah, we want things that they are always this way and there is no contradiction there.
No inconsistencies.
No inconsistencies.
So we're going to gather data, we are processing and thinking about what we've observed, and then we are going to look for inconsistencies. If there are no inconsistencies, we have truth.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
Draw, Anna.
draw. Contagion. Is well spelled?
Looks good to me.
Okay. So what does it mean? What do you think that is? What do people think that is contagion?
Contagion means that things spread. So if you get sick, then you're going to spread that to me. I'm going to get sick because you're sick. Something is contagious.
Okay. So we have a person here that this person somehow is sick. So has something that makes him or her sick. Okay. So that means that this person can make that this other person that was supposedly healthy, I'm going to put a ponytail, so it's difficult to draw here. Okay,
Yeah.
So this is going to make that this person becomes also sick. Okay, the ponytail again. So as we can see, and this person, because of this is transmitted somehow.
Right.
From this person, I can take something that if I put it in another person that is healthy,
Right.
that person gets sick.
Yes.
That is what we say about contagion, isn't it? That's clear.
Yes.
Okay. So now it means that there is something that can make you sick. This is what we call a pathogen.
Pathogen. Say it with me. Pathogen.
That's what we've been told. We've been told that this person is sick because of something that is a pathogen.
Okay.
And if I take this pathogen and I put it in a healthy person, this person gets sick. This is about the 4 postulates of Koch.
Gotcha.
About bacteria, or the 7 postulates of Rivers, that is about viruses. But basically what they say is that I can take something from this sick person,
Right.
I can isolate it, I can put it in a healthy person, and then this person is going to get sick exactly the same way that was the first person, and I can take from this person the same pathogen that I have isolated from here.
Gotcha.
This is the theory.
Makes sense. Everybody will get that?
Okay. And they say that these pathogens are bacteria or are viruses. Okay. If this is true and we are thinking, that means that it has to happen always.
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 Without exception.
Has to be consistent.
Because a law is something that happens always. The sun rises every morning. There is no exception that confirms any rule there. Okay, so it has to be always. But we all know that there are people that are sick, that are living with other people that don't get sick.
Right.
So if it's not always...
that is always true. It's always true that if someone gets sick, if you have a classroom or a family, not everyone gets sick. Almost always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So to be true, this means that has to be always this way. And we know that this doesn't happen.
Right.
And why this doesn't happen? Because this is the step that is not right.
Because the step that's not right is
that
this.
Exactly. That this person doesn't get sick because there is a pathogen.
Okay.
This is the thing that is not true.
Okay.
So now it comes another question that is, so what is making people sick?
Right.
But first of all, let's continue with this. This is not true. Why is not true? Okay, let's collect more data. What do we know about bacteria? That, for example, 90% of your cells are bacteria.
Right.
Oh, if 90% of my cells are bacteria that live symbiotically in me, how can I blame bacteria of being the cause of anything? Oh yeah, because the bacteria get bad for you.
There's bad bacteria.
There are bad bacteria and good bacteria. No, there are bacteria. Some of them help you in certain processes. Some of them help you in other processes. Most of the bacteria are scavengers. So they eat tissue that is already dead. Other bacteria, they eat toxins. What is toxic for you, they eat it and they transform that in something that is organic. For example, the heavy metals.
Okay.
You know, candida and all the connection with the heavy metals of the mouth and all these things.
Yes.
Okay.
Other videos we've done.
Yeah. So we know that bacteria are part of us. 90% of yourselves, that's a lot. That's not just 1%, it's 90% of yourselves. And I have to tell you something, 100% of our genome and all the characteristics that our cells have as human beings come from bacteria and viruses. Now let's go to the viruses, because the viruses are not even alive, are not life form. Okay. They are just DNA or RNA sequences. So viruses are information, are like telegrams that gives instructions. For example, when a woman gets pregnant, who says, create a placenta? A sequence that is a viral sequence. When you have a problem, what is the one that says, do this, create an inflammation, is a sequence that is a viral. It's a viral because we call that viral. We could call it exosomes. We could call it with another.
So that's interesting. So real quick then, woman gets pregnant. There's no placenta. I'm a guy. There's no placenta until the woman gets pregnant. So there is something in the body, some intelligence that gives the body instructions to do what it needs to do.
To do all the processes.
Okay.
And 100% of our genome is made of viruses and bacteria, because that's the name that we put to sequences.
Okay. And I did really learn recently that was, I'm learning about exosomes, where it said exosomes were the information that's giving us the information for the body to do its thing. And viruses, exosomes, the same thing if you look at the Andrew Kaufman experience. Okay, so continue.
So 90% of our cells are bacteria that helps us in everything, in generating vitamins and absorbing nutrients, so we need them. We cannot blame them. Then 100% of our genome is made of bacteria and viruses information. Viruses are the builders of life, are instructions, so we cannot blame them. Okay, what happens that sometimes we are full of toxins, we are full of wounds or stagnants or what we call the terrain. So that means our body, our environment, our body, physical body and chemical body has problems. And then these bacteria and viruses come there to help.
Right. Okay.
If there are heavy metals, bacteria come. Then, of course, these bacteria are creating also waste products that you say, oh, they are toxic. Well, the toxicity was already there. Right. So blaming bacteria to be the cause of diseases is like blaming the firefighters of being the cause of the fires. No, they are there because it's like the consequence.
Sure.
Always. Okay. Has never been demonstrated, neither Koch postulates or Pasteur theories. Never. These are theories.
And never demonstrated.
Never. Even has been demonstrated exactly the opposite. That is a law. Okay. And you can look for another authors. Like, for example, you can Google Massimo Sandin, one of my favorites one, or you can go to Stefan Lanka, or you can go to Hope Simpson, or you can go to, I don't know if it has a P, I think so. Looks like the Simpson.
Simpson.
Yeah, is a double name. And then you can look Cowan. You can Google Kaufman. I don't know. I mean, there are so many people at this moment talking about viruses in a different point of view. No, they are not alive, so you cannot kill them.
Now, and interesting, real quick too, as I'm making connections with this. Building blocks, like learning about stem cells that create all the other cells in the body, things differentiate, become liver cells and kidney cells and things like that. Videos we've all seen. Sperm goes into the egg, then there's a cell that divides into 2 and 4 and 6 and 8. At a point, there's a point when those cells become kidney cells, liver cells, and all that. This is when the exosomes are giving those instructions, the information. Okay. So if exosomes are viruses, still, as I'm saying, making the connections here, they're the guys giving the instructions and putting the building blocks in place. Okay, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Are just building blocks and just instructions. Okay, so you cannot blame the instructions of being the cause of anything.
Right.
You know, and it has never been proven. So this is just, and you know, and this is about thinking. It's not about believing. I can tell you, has never been proven, and you have to believe that because there is no way you can check it.
Right.
But you can observe very easily that you have a cold and I don't.
Right. True.
So the question is why sometimes you have a cold and I also have a cold.
Right.
So this is another question. Okay, so let's think. If there is no contagion, because of the basic thing that there are no such thing as pathogens, this is not the cause. So now the question is, so what's the cause? Right. Why do we get sick? Or why we say, I'm sick?
Right.
Okay, so what is about sickness? So then we can think, for example, you and me go climbing a mountain. I have to tell you, you are more fit than I am at this moment. Okay, you know that. Yes. So if we both go climbing a mountain, we are going to have similar symptoms.
Right.
We are going to sweat.
Sure.
We are going to breathe stronger. And we are going to have our heart
rate increases. Right.
Does it mean that you have contagiated? How do you say
that? I have caught something?
Yeah.
That's contagious.
That I'm breathing harder or quicker and my heartbeat is quicker because you have transmitted that to me?
Oh, I see. So we're both going through the same experience.
Exactly.
And we're feeling the same thing, but it's not that, you're not catching a heart rate change from me. You're not sweating because I'm sweating. I'm not making you sweat. You're not catching that.
Exactly. You're not catching it. What you are doing is what we say an adaptation. I was trying to erase the last part.
Which last part?
This here, this, or I just create a new one.
Might have to create a new one.
Okay.
Might have to create a new one.
So here they say,
done. Go.
So now the question is, we had that person that suddenly, or not suddenly, it's sick.
Right.
And we've seen that we cannot blame on something a bug, a bacteria or a virus, because first of all, it has never been demonstrated. Second, we have the experience, or we have this directly input in our personal experience that some people is sick and I don't get sick.
Right.
Okay, so it fails. This is not consistent. This is not coherent. There is no truth there. Okay. So the question is, so why we get sick? What is this? So that's a big question.
Yeah.
What is what we call a sickness or a disease or an illness? I don't know in English. Let's say illness.
Illness. Disease is interesting because it's dis-ease. For whatever that's worth.
For whatever. So for me, this is a collection of symptoms and signs that are showing, as we were talking about climbing the mountain, is showing you an adaptation.
So symptoms
is the way that my body is trying to adapt to a change.
Sure.
It's cold outside. I start shaking my body so as I can create that, or I generate
heat.
Exactly, or I generate fever directly to increase my metabolism.
We're coughing because we're trying to get something out.
Exactly.
Okay, the nose is running because it's protecting and bringing things out.
Exactly.
Okay.
So everything is about adaptation. Now, what changes. So as I need to adapt, okay, it changes the outer environment because it changes the composition of the air, the temperature, the chemical things that I'm eating, but it also changes inside me some things, sometimes my thoughts, sometimes my fears, my emotions. So it also depends on how do you consider yourself. You are going to include one thing or not in the cause of the diseases. But basically, any sickness is an adaptation that sometimes we do this adaptation simultaneously, like when we go up the mountain, we climb the mountain, we have the same symptoms. That doesn't mean that you have contagion. So,
well, and hold that thought. So as the seasons change, there is a species of animals that will hibernate. There are some that will change color, that will shed their skin. So seasons change, we get flus, we get sicknesses. We are adapting, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the season changed, the weather changed, the temperature, the humidity, things like that. Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. We're adapting. I didn't make you sick.
No, you didn't make me sick. I'm sick because I'm doing processes inside me, and this process have some symptoms, and these symptoms, since they are annoying, I say that's a sickness.
Right, and we don't want those, so we want to stop those symptoms.
Well, but if you stop the symptoms, you are stopping the adaptation, so you are not doing something that helps your body.
So we should appreciate it, observe it, and understand that as we're going through an illness, we're adapting, and understand that this is an amazing thing that the body is.
Yeah.
And it's going through a process. We need to support it, not stop the cough with cough syrup and cough drops.
The thing is that sometimes this adaptation is so difficult because you are so damaged that can even make you die. You cannot adapt, you die.
Right.
It's as easy as that.
Yes.
So we have to be careful also in saying, okay, there are certain processes that, okay, we can help the body to deal with that.
Right.
But one thing is helping the body to do what the body is trying to do. Another thing is doing exactly the opposite that the body is trying to do. If you have fever, people are scared and they want to stop the fever. Well, the body is trying to do something, so let's help.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
But let's think again. If these are not bacteria and viruses, because that's the key of everything. I mean, bacteria and viruses have been blamed of being guilty of something that they are not. So if we understand that this can never be this green thing that makes you a zombie, can never be a bacteria or a virus, then there is no contagion.
Right.
It doesn't exist. I mean, everything that we are experiencing is based on there is a person, there is something that is the ultimate cause that is the responsible of that. If this is not true, nothing else is true.
So we can observe, and someone said this to me recently, if we were to show a graphic, an image, and remove the bacteria from the body, Anna would say first you'd see a city and then there's no people. It's like a ghost town. But eventually the bricks would crumble and everything. You'd be left with nothing. Maybe your spirit.
Yeah, well,
or your soul, right? Okay.
But your spirit needs your vehicle to be
we're
here.
We're not getting into that one right now.
Okay.
Okay, so the bacteria and the viruses, all these things should be embraced. Okay, and the reality is what we've learned recently is if a virus and an exosome are the same thing, and everyone's afraid of this virus.
Yeah, but everybody's looking for exosome therapy now.
Well, no, that's do people know that? I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just came across exosomes. People are using exosomes for healing. And people are afraid of viruses. It's the same thing. That's very interesting.
It is.
And let me see, as we get finished with this, more or less, when people are sick, what can you do? The first thing you do is observe and gather the data. Mm-hmm. Next time you get sick, notice who else is sick. Is everyone getting sick? What's going on with the temperature? What's going on with your job, with the stress in your life? Did your diet change? Humidity, things like that. Just even simple things can affect us. Mm-hmm. So observe and then think about it and look for what's consistent.
Exactly. So in the cause of diseases, we can include, for example, the toxicity. We live very toxic lives.
Yeah.
And all the
preservatives
that we use, and all the things that we're breathing.
The air quality sucks.
And all the things that we put in our body.
Yeah. So structure is number 2.
Structure. No, it's not number. It's
well,
just
the
things.
Second one there.
It's the second one here.
It's just hard to read, so I'm making sure.
Okay. People that has had an accident.
Structural issues, structural compromise to the system. Okay.
Teeth, problems with the teeth,
right.
The toxicity that we have. And also we cannot not look at emotions.
Right.
Because they're very important. They also have biochemical composition or component. They change our pH. They change. Fear changes our pH.
It's easy to think that anger is toxic.
Yeah, totally. And also our mental patterns, our beliefs that makes that we are cycling in the same obsession and we cannot think bigger. Okay.
Right.
So this could be the real, for me, and we could put a little bit more thing, but this is another day. The real cause of the disease is nothing of this is contagious. Well, yes, the fear it is.
Fear is, yes, it's the fear.
And the laugh.
Laughter, fear, yawning. Yeah, those are contagious.
And sometimes
stupidity.
Sometimes enthusiasm is also contagious.
Yes, actually.
Which is good.
Yeah, joy can be totally contagious. That's part of laughter.
So just let me put a last thing before we finish this, because some people don't believe that bacteria are not the cause, because they say, but I have had an infection. Right. So let's talk just a little bit about infections, because infections exist. Of course they exist. What does an infection mean? Means that there are bacteria that are in the place that they shouldn't be.
Okay.
And why are there? Okay, because you have a wound. You have opened your skin,
right.
And then you go swimming to the dirty beach or pond or lake or whatever. So there are bacteria that are okay there, or probably they shouldn't be there either, but they go into your wound. So what's the cause? Is the bacteria? No.
Right.
Is that your skin was open and the terrain was damaged.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
So sometimes we have infections, yes. And sometimes we could even need an antibiotic if we have a very acute infection that we cannot deal with. Yeah, can happen. But it's very limited. It's just a few moments. It's not very often.
Sure.
So infections means that, for example, your lungs are very weak. You've been breathing through a mask.
A dirty mask.
For 2 years now. And of course, your mucos are totally inflamed, and this mask that you are wearing, of course, you're not going to change it every 2 hours.
Right.
So you are the whole day with your textile, like fabric or whatever cloth mask there that is full of bacteria. So at the end, those bacteria that shouldn't be there are going to go into your lungs that shouldn't be there.
Recirculating, back.
But it's not because of, you made a mistake and this bacteria is bad. No, they are there because of something is wrong.
Right.
And they finally go there. So don't blame the bacteria, blame the change in your pH, blame the fact that you are not breathing, that you have low oxygen, blame your toxicity, blame the rest of the things that are the real cause.
Right.
The fact that the bacteria is there because it's trying, is kind of resonance with a process that you are doing.
Right.
Okay, so it's there because somehow it's trying to help you.
And I was going to say, in the end, what the body is doing all the time is trying to survive.
Exactly.
So it's never going to attack itself. This is the autoimmune stuff, not.
Exactly. We have to know very, very well that our body is designed to be healthy and it's going to do whatever it can to keep you alive, even if it's sacrificing a part, like when you have gout,
that it puts in
the toe. Yeah.
Sure.
Why? Because it's as far as they can from the rest of your vital organs. So it's going to, I sacrifice your toe. I don't care the toe, but be alive. So the body is always doing that. There is no such thing as the body making mistakes.
Yes.
That's ridiculous. That's just considering you as a machine. I'm sorry, you are not a machine. You're much bigger than that.
Right.
And much more grandiosity. How is that word? Grandiosity.
Yeah, grandiose.
Okay.
Dad would say nature does nothing in vain.
So we have a person that is sick. We cannot blame bacteria and viruses because has never been demonstrated. And we have our personal experience that is not true 100%. So if it's not 100% means there are inconsistencies. So means there is no truth there.
Yes.
Let's look for the truth. What are the root cause of the illnesses? all these things and some more that we can add to this list.
Other videos.
But this is about you and how you adapt to the things that are outside and inside you. Don't blame what is the 90% of yourself, of your cells, or the 100% of your genome. That makes no sense at all. So let's stop being scared of pathogens, because it doesn't exist something like a pathogen. Most of the things that we've been taught that are contagious, like the lepra. Lepra does exist in English? When they start losing the skin.
Leprosy.
We were told that that's super contagious and infectious, and that's not true.
Right.
That's not true. That was just geopolitics. Like the quarantines, the first quarantines of the boat were just geopolitics. Just to stop the British to go to the Suez Canal. Right. You know?
Okay. We're not getting into that. Not getting into that. In the end of this right now, it's about the terrain. Once again, it's the terrain, your inner environment in relation to the outer environment. And I would say, what makes you think that you stop at your fingertips when part of your respiratory system is in that tree over there? Okay. So when you get sick, observe. There are things you can do to support your body as it goes through what it's going through, and appreciate it. Sometimes you just need to stop. Your body will get you sick when it's time to stop, or things you need to adapt. So rest, relax. Chicken soup is a good thing. Yeah. Chicken soup with love is even better. So awesome, Anna. There's probably lots of questions about this, and we'll be involved with some of that. People like Andrew Kaufman have done videos on the Spanish flu. Yep. Never ever having been giving it from one person to another person. Stefan Lanka is the virologist who says his work has been a lie because viruses are not a problem. So there are people you can look up that all this information that Emma's talking about. Yes. She's coughing, dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to transmit that to you.
Get it up. All right. So in the end, stopping the share here. I think that was awesome, Anna.
Okay, thank you.
Your art is beautiful, and we'll put it up for auction at some point. But cool, as we share this, feel free to jump in questions wherever we share it with people, gather data, process the data, and look for inconsistencies.
Yes, and discern by yourself. Don't believe what the people are telling you, because probably you will discover very easily that this doesn't make so much sense.
Well, and what's true for me might not be true for you.
Yeah.
Two people go through the same thing and have different experiences.
And information has to allow you an experience. So don't just believe, just think.
All right. And get outside and go climb a hill.
Yes.
All right. So in the end, hasta luego.
Bye-bye.